They haven't reset the clock yet, so I can keep going. Good morning, everybody. I'm Carol Haddock. I'm an engineer. Sounds kind of like a confession, doesn't it? So here's my real confession. I got an email telling me things have been rearranged this morning, and I made Brad very nervous when I didn't show up before 8. Didn't learn my lesson from Mark yesterday. I'm also a leader. I'm honored. It is my privilege to serve as ASCE's president 2027. And it's my honor to join y'all here at Geo-Congress. This is my first time at a Geo-Congress. I am a water resources engineer by degree and by experience, but I'm mainly a public infrastructure person. I have spent 25 years in the public sector, and I have spent most of my time in that in leadership, not actually doing day-to-day engineering. So today I'm going to share my thoughts on why engineers need to use our amazing problem-solving skills to grow as leaders. And by doing this, we'll both serve our communities and elevate our profession. Why will this elevate our profession? Because honestly, when our engineering skills are on display as leaders, people want more of us in leadership. They really do. We're logical, we're pragmatic, we bring solutions, we don't bring excuses. So let's jump into this. Society's foundation depends on civil engineers, depends on engineers. Today, being surrounded with geotechnical experts, that foundation word is kind of very appropriate. A widespread functioning infrastructure is key to the society we live in for our economic success and for the very social fabric of our lives. Just looking at this photo, I see an urban center. I see businesses, I see economy, I see regional transportation, I see natural resources ringed by recreation. I see the foundation for communities. Designed and built by the infrastructure community and brought to life by the community that calls this place home. It's a partnership. We have to listen to them and we have to work with them. Our tagline, infrastructure leaders building communities. I love this tagline. I was not on the board, I was not involved when we came up with this, but I absolutely love it. Tough problems require innovative solutions. Engineers that grow into leadership not only bring those solutions, but are a voice in communities and a champion for these solutions. We build communities. We need to lead communities. We need to step into that role. Civil engineers are master planners, designers, constructors, operators of society's economic and social foundation, the built environment. I don't want to forget what Kimberly talked about this morning in our sustainability. We have to be that voice. We have to be part of that. We must be master integrators across all infrastructure and accommodate the needs of the communities that we serve. We must have that relationship. We must understand what our communities need. We must understand what they want. And sometimes we may be the hard love of what you want and what you need aren't always the same thing, and how do we bridge that gap? Civil engineers are trained to see the connections and the impacts of infrastructure in communities. As leaders, we must see the ways infrastructure can enhance our communities based on the community's needs and those desires. Civil engineers are master innovators and integrators of ideas and technology across the public, private, and academic sectors. We must embrace the changes that come at us. Sometimes we must be the change that we need to go into the world. Stewards of the environment. This is one that is difficult for many people. We have the duty to be stewards of both the built and the natural environment. ASCE's Code of Ethics places the natural and built environment as the second highest priority. If you look at our new Code of Ethics that came out a few years ago, it actually puts things in order of priority. Public health, safety, and welfare is first. Stewards of our natural and built environment is actually second. It is listed above our profession. It's listed above our clients. It's listed above our employers. And it's even listed above our peers. Stop and think about that a minute. It's that high in our priority of what we want our leaders to do in the world. And I do want to thank you, Kim, for giving me a different way to talk about that, because I'm one of those battery people, and I will rethink that. Managers of risk and uncertainty. Civil engineers are managers of risk and uncertainty by natural events, accidents, or other threats. And Desar, thank you so much for talking about the risk and the uncertainty that you dealt with. We have an obligation to understand and incorporate that risk and that uncertainty, whether it's a changing climate, whether it's changing regulations, or even if it's changes in how our communities operate or where our communities are. When you look at the world population growth, we're actually seeing significant changes in population centers. So our existing infrastructure doesn't align with where people are going to be living. We need to be leaders in public policy. ASCE's report card has become a standard tool in our nation's capital for discussions around infrastructure and infrastructure funding. Civil engineers need to be leaders in these discussions. We don't need to let people interpret our information. We need to be at the table. We need to be in those conversations. We need to be in the room when those decisions shaping public, environmental, and infrastructure policy are happening. This policy expands far beyond our projects and our designs today. Public policy impacts our communities today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. And that's why we need to be in those conversations. And while we're honoring the past, as engineering leaders, we must transform for our future. ASCE is helping individuals do that through volunteer leadership opportunities, training, mentoring, to name a few. We advocate for performance-based codes and standards that will adapt to changes in our communities, including changes in the population and our climate. But as engineering leaders, we have a special place in the public. We're trusted. We can speak to the obligation to design to future conditions and not get mired in why it's happening. Although now I'm thinking maybe we should have some of that blanket discussion. But we can talk about that and not the why. It's happening. That's what the measurements tell us. That's what the data shows us. It's our obligation to consider that when we're going to protect the public health, safety, and welfare. Why didn't that roll off my tongue this morning? Not enough coffee yet. And so it is absolutely our obligation. There is a role for everybody in this room to be a leader in where you are, but to be a leader in the community that you live in. So with the time that I have left, I'm going to share a little bit about my leadership journey, because each of you is on one. Whether you're leading in a small scale, you're leading in a large scale, why are you on your leadership journey? I had the privilege of going through a program called the American Leadership Forum while I was director of Houston Public Works. And so I was able to do this and continual learning, lifelong learning, to do this at the same time. And these are the 5 principles that they use to train people, but they actually showed up throughout my life. And I realized that this was a good way to describe it. And so the other thing that I will say is, for everybody, no 2 journeys look alike. Make sure that when you're on your leadership journey that you are taking the path that works for you, not the path that you're following somebody else or that you're let happen to you. Don't let it happen to you. Be deliberate and take that as you go through it. I've been on my journey as long as I can remember. I really can. I mean, whether it was being the little group leader in Girl Scouts, or whether it was, the choir in junior high, or going through all the different things along the way. But here's the deal. Leadership is an activity. It requires intention. It requires showing up. It requires being prepared. It requires you to put yourself out there, to be authentic. Leadership is not a title. It's not a position. And I've had many titles and positions in my career and my life, but leadership is what you do, and leadership is how you inspire people to want to do more, to inspire people to show up, to inspire people to take that step for themselves. It's not about being the boss. Everybody has had that boss that is intoxicated by the title. It's not pleasant. Leadership is about what you do, and it's about how you show up. So, leaders show up. When you look around and you're thinking about putting together your team, you're not thinking about the people that aren't in the room. You're thinking about the people that are there every time, every day, asking how they can help, just quietly getting the stuff done. Ask them to step up. Give them an opportunity, give them assignment, give them something to do. Leadership requires trust in relationships. We talked about trust a whole lot yesterday with Mark in his presentation. You have to have trust in relationships. You have to have people that are going to tell you that the emperor is not wearing clothes. You have to have people that are going to tell you the truth when it's not easy, and people that will show up even before you ask. Those are the type of trusting relationships I've always had and always wanted. Leadership's an inside job. If you want to be a good leader, you have to know yourself and you have to grow yourself. Use those trusting relationships. You've developed them, ask them. What do you wish I did better? Can you help me do that? It grows a relationship and it grows you. Leadership requires courage, curiosity, and reflection. You have to ask a lot of questions. You have to be curious. You have to probe. You have to poke. You have to do all those things to understand what's going on in the situation. But it also takes that courage to show up and be active, and then to take the time to reflect. I will tell you that while I was on this journey, we had a week in the wilderness. I wrote a poem. I didn't know I could write a poem. It just came to me sitting in the wilderness. Reflection is an amazing thing. And when your brain calms down, you can do these kind of things. But here's the deal. It doesn't guarantee safety or comfort. It absolutely is one of those things that you are going to be out there sometimes and it is not going to be pleasant. And that's okay. That's what being a leader is. It's showing up, standing there, taking it, and being the calm influence through the controversies that come at you. The last thing I'll add here, and I'll probably go over time, which is good, you gave me 2 minutes, is leaders must take care of themselves. You must make sure that medically, physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, that you are taking care of yourself. You can't do any of these other things if you don't. And if you are not doing those things, you will not show up as your best self, and your team will know it, and they will see it. And if they've got those trusting relationships, they will check in with you and make sure that you know it. So I'll wrap up. ASCE made me. ASCE made me a better engineer, made me a better leader. And I'd like to leave you with this question. How will you use your engineering experience and background to make you a better leader? I would be remiss if I didn't ask, how can ASCE help you on your journey? And I'm delighted to be here at Geo-Congress. And I've seen it all over it, so I know I'm not the first invite. Join us in Philadelphia for the ASCE 2027 experience. It is going to be the first of many, and it is going to be an event you don't want to miss. And I promise it will help you on your leadership journey. So thank you for your time this morning.